Hi, you guys. Welcome back. My name is Carrie Penny. I am the Happy Crafty Homemaker, and welcome to Show and Tell number 239. So, I have a couple of just like life things I want to discuss with you guys because I keep forgetting to add some of the weirdness of the last couple weeks into these videos. Wow, it is very humid, and I got haze starting to build up on my glasses from body heat. So this week's been fairly calm. Monday, Troy went into the office and his boss was like, hey, yeah, I need you to go to Michigan. So he'll be back tonight. But yeah, so he spent 3 days in Michigan now. Surprise. First weird thing that's happened that I forgot to tell you guys about is we found a random pity puppy in our front yard. So we were minding our own business as one does on a Saturday. And a guy rings our doorbell and is like, hey, is that puppy yours? And we're like, puppy? Apparently he had seen him 2 days previously on his side of the neighborhood. And I mean, this thing is tiny, 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 tiny. I'll pop a picture in here. Beautiful, sweet little man, but tiny puppy, skin and bones. He got under our jelly palm and it had just dropped its fruit. So he had been like eating the jelly palm fruit. And we're like, yeah, not our puppy. So they couldn't get him to come out. I came outside and was immediately like, oh my God, look at you, you little sweetheart. And he came like trotting out and was immediately like tail wags and everything else. So I'm standing there holding him while Troy came in to find a leash and everything because we're not really set up to have a dog here at the house, especially a tiny little puppy. So a guy took him with him. I have not heard whether or not he found his original owners or if he's just going to adopt him, because his plan was if nobody came forward as owning the dog in the neighborhood, he was just going to keep the dog. But anyway, that happened. So surprise puppy. And he's already got a corgi and an older Labrador, or was it a lab or a Goldie? Anyway, so yeah, I don't know. But in the distraction of the week before last and just, this is Troy's second trip to Michigan in 3 weeks. So there's just been a lot, just a lot. I went to make myself box brownies. So I was making, I think it was the Birch Benders keto brownies that I made, which are okay. They're not the greatest, but they're okay. Sometimes you just don't feel like doing it from scratch, especially when you have to do it wheat-free and sugar-free. Sometimes it's nice to have a box mix on hand. And Publix they were clearancing out a bunch of the Birch Bender stuff. So they had, brownies, cake mix, the frosting, all that stuff on like buy one, get one. And that stuff doesn't normally go on sale. So anyway, I was like, okay, well, I'm going to do what I do with a lot of them. And I'm going to add a couple scoops of protein in here. I'm going to add some psyllium husk in here to add some fiber to it. And we'll make these healthier brownies. Now, this is something I do regularly, but the trick is if you are going to add protein and fiber to a box brownie mix like this, you have to undercook them. So what I normally do is I'll, decrease the time by about 5 minutes, make sure it kind of looks wet in the center. I'll crack open the oven, turn it off, and just let them cool there in the oven. Because our oven, we have a convection oven, so it does kind of like move the heat out fairly quickly as well. So I forgot to turn the oven off when I did that and ended up dehydrating my brownies basically. So they were tough, dense, cakey lumps of chocolate. They still tasted fine, but the texture was horrible. So if you guys run into this, might I recommend brownie soup? So basically I just poured milk on them and ate them as brownie soup. I know that sounds ridiculous. And I told Troy, I was like, I've really got to remember to tell these people about this because this to me is so absurd and so sad and so pathetic because I refuse to waste good brownies. And I had added like vanilla extract, extra salt, things like that, some chocolate chips, Lily's chocolate chips. I was not going to waste this pan of brownies. So I ended up, my dessert for a week and a half was brownie soup because I messed up my brownies. So if you decide to add protein and fiber to your brownies, make sure you undercook them and make sure you turn the oven off if you're going to let them cool in the oven. Otherwise, you're going to end up with something 5 times denser than a protein bar, and they're just basically inedible. So anyway, yeah, those are like the extra things that have been going on here that I keep forgetting to tell you guys about. And I know there was something else where I was just like, ugh. So I'm going to put this out into the ethos because the goal is for this to work. But all year long, one of the things I've been trying to do is the 30-day how much yarn can I use challenge. So 2 days ago, I decided to start trying to do this. So on the 17th of September. By the way, happy birthday, Dad. His birthday was on the 16th. So on the 17th, I started filming, and I'm making progress. I'm pleased with what I have done thus far. But yesterday, about halfway through a scarf, my Addie decided, hey, so my handle's just going to go hang out over here. So I mean, it was tilting almost a half an inch. So I had to take my machine apart. I don't have any lithium grease on hand, so I just use some frog grease to grease a piece of tin foil to put in there. So I ordered the lithium grease. I'm going to clean my machine and everything and take it apart. But I'm already, as of day 2, trying to do this, losing time. But one of the things I want to do is I wanted to do 50 hats and scarves to donate this year. So I only had like 10 ready to go. So I was like, great idea. I'll spend the next 30 days. It'll be in between months. So we're not running into like the beginning of the month insanity or the end of the month insanity. I'll have some good days. I'll have some bad days. Anyway, I'm working on it. Hopefully this will work out. We'll have a separate video about what I did over the 30 days and how much I used and all that stuff. And then at the end of October, of course, we'll do our quarterly check-in. No, end of September, we'll have a quarterly check-in. So the end of this month, because it's October, November, December. Yeah. So part of that will be counted into the quarterly updates for my goals for 2024. We also will have next week where my stash is kind of update. Also, Project UFO will be coming back in video form. And you'll understand why in 8.2 seconds. So I try so hard to keep things together and to not be absolutely flighty and crazy. However, life. So yeah, and my basket of deliciousness here. Saturday, we will have a video. I have the final unboxing for Little Skeins Kindred Spirits box. So we'll talk about that. But first off, we do have some finished objects in here. So as part of Project UFO, one of the things I had were 4 tubes that I knitted off either at the end of 2022 or beginning of 2023. So these got moved here back to Columbia when we moved, and they were always intended to be pumpkins, and I finally turned them into pumpkins. So I did decide I did not want to make more tendrils and more stems. So I did decide to do 2 little pumpkin stacks, and I think they're adorable. I know this kind of looks like kelp or something hanging off of here, but when it's sitting down on the table, it's kind of cute. I will try to get a picture, but yeah, I spent yesterday morning. It was rainy and icky and miserable, so I spent yesterday morning stuffing pumpkins and doing the details on them. I just had them stacked up and I was like, oh, I kind of like how that looks. That's kind of cute. So I decided to roll with pumpkin stacks. This is some scrap from making a hat and scarf set earlier this year. The 2 blanks that were already done, and then since the brown was sitting there from the granny square blanket I've been working on, that's just some Pound of Love taupe And oddly enough, because the orange is that bright. It's one of the, I love this yarns, and it is intense orange. So I finished 2 of these. I still have to figure out how I'm going to count the weight. I think I'm going to take the weight and do 25% of it as yarn and the rest of it towards other crafts when it comes to my goals for the year. But we do have that. What am I going to do with 2 giant pumpkin stacks? By the way, this is, woo, this is Hocus. He is from a pattern by Ella over at No Catchy Name. Somebody said, Guldan and Corn Duck have a new friend. Yes, his name is Hocus. I made him summer of 2019. It was when we were in process of moving to Charlotte. But yeah, that is what is going on here. And yes, I am 100% on board with his name being Golden. But it has to be said that way. Golden. Because he's a gourd. He's cute. Make a mess here. I did finish my granny square blanket. So I used, number one, I realized all the other blankets that I had been donating were 4x5. So I was actually worried I was running out of one colorway of, or color lot of the yellow. So I was going to alternate it, going yellow, teal, or honeybee, aquamarine, yellow, and do aquamarine, honeybee, aquamarine. And then I was like, no, I just need 20 squares. So this will be perfectly fine. So she is done. I used the continuous join method. Did a second round. So we had 2 of the taupe. Did 1 round in granny squares of the aquamarine, 1 round in the honeybee, and then I came back across and just did shell stitches. And in the corner, I'm showing you the wrong side because of course I am. In the corner, I just added 1 shell into that corner stitch. So each granny opening, I just did a shell stitch. And I did it as single, half double, double, half double, single, because doing 5 doubles did not give me definition between the singles or between the shells because of the way the granny stitch looks. It just looked like wonky granny stitches. So I did do actual like single, half double, double, half double, single shells. But I will take a picture and lay it out. That way you can see the whole thing. Evet here. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll see, you know, works in progress as they've been going on. Excuse me. I'm going to also insert a picture here of the hats and scarves in the bin that I've been working on. I have 2 in the leftovers of the aquamarine and honeybee. I have 1 red and tan set. I'm almost done with a blue and tan set. And then there is a pre-existing marl set that was kind of just in there. So I made over the last couple days 4 hat and scarf sets plus half of another one. The only other WIP that I have for this week is my Shrockies. So last week I had turned the heel. This week, all I managed to have time for was about 1 inch. Our football game on Friday or Saturday was the early game. That was the most emotionally exhausting game I have ever watched. And I'm invested, but I'm not like mega invested in watching Carolina play football. If I'm watching sports, I do prefer baseball. So, but even I was just like, oh. But anyway, we didn't go anywhere on Saturday because our game was at 12:30. And then Sunday, all we did was go to Mass and back. So I didn't get a whole lot of time in the car. I still, after traveling and hurricanes and everything else, we've had rain more or less every single morning. I have not gotten back into walking in the morning, and I keep trying to get like an afternoon workout in, and it's just not working for me. Like I said, life just kind of lifes. So yeah, that is where I am for this week. Lots of upcoming stuff, lots of stuff that will be coming out, lots of things to be talking about. But right now, this is where we are. This weekend is going to be very busy. So Saturday, I know there's some errands that Troy is going to want to run. So hopefully I can get these to the cuff. And then for the cuff, I can, but I'd like to get, I think I need at least 1 more inches. I don't want these to be super high. So if I do a 35 round cuff on them, that'll give me about 1.5 inches of cuff. So I think I need about 1 inch of stockinette still, and then I'll have like the perfect size for what I wanted these to be. So yeah. So hopefully Saturday morning I can kind of get that done just as we're running errands. Tomorrow I need to go to the grocery store. Sunday we're having a family dinner. We have a family member that has moved back to Columbia, so we're doing a welcome home from all the way from Arizona. We haven't seen each other in forever. So anyway, we're going to do a big Southern style family dinner, pot roast collard greens, green beans with bacon, gravy, collards, green beans, mashed potatoes, pot roast. I don't know. I feel like we need to have another side in there, and I'm not sure what to throw in there. But I'll probably run down to Costco and get maybe I'll do cornbread or something. It's been a while since I made like normal cornbread for everybody else. But yeah, so Sunday is going to be a bust. Saturday evening is our football game. Our football game's the late game. So Troy will probably stay up and watch the game as I'm going to go ahead and go to bed. We're playing Akron this week, so hopefully it'll go okay. But Sunday morning, we'll get up, we'll go to mass, come home, do the finishing touches on dinner, and then we're going to do lunch at 1. So this weekend is already like going to be a wash for me getting anything done for my 30-day challenge other than what I can take in the car with me or have out with company. So it's going to, like I said, I'm going to put it out into the ethos and we'll see how this works. The goal is to go from September 17th to October 16th and just dedicate that time to using as much as I can. I also need to finish getting downstairs decorated. I pulled down all the regular decor and we're starting to pull out like the Halloween and the fall decorations. So I've got to get that done, which means I need to go into the tiny crawl space attic over here off the frog and try to get all that stuff out. So, it'll be a busy week. We'll have some things to talk about next week. I should have all the finishing touches on the hats and scarves I already have done by then. So they should be sets that are finished that I can talk about. But yeah, I look forward to seeing you guys on Saturday. I cannot wait to show you what is in the Kindred Spirits box this month. Other than that, I love you guys. I hope you're having a wonderful, fantastic day. And I look forward to seeing you guys real soon. Bye, you guys.